What about this motion? Can you predict how the man is going to walk here? We can see that for some of the time, actually most of the time, he's going to be to the left of the reference point. So he's going to start far away to the left of the 0, and then he's going to move towards the reference point. He's going to cross the reference point at this moment, and then he's going to be on the right-hand side. So to do that, he has to be heading to the right. In other words, he has to be heading positively. His velocity must be positive. And indeed, the slope of the graph is positive. Then let's look at how the slope, the gradient, changes. It starts off shallow. The gradient of an xt graph tells us velocity, so it starts off slow. And then the gradient becomes steeper and steeper. The velocity gets faster and faster. And that makes sense then why, first of all, he travels for a long time but only goes a certain distance. He goes slowly. If we break his displacement up into two, the displacement when he was in the negative position to the left of the reference, and his displacement while he was to the right of the reference in the positive zone. He was displaced the same amount positively and negatively. You can see that this height and this height of the graph is the same. But it didn't take the same amount of time. While he was on the negative side, it took him a long time to go from his maximum negative position to 0, to reference point. Because then he was going slowly. But while he was to the right of the reference, he traveled very quickly, and so it took him a short time to go from the reference to his maximum positive position, which is just as far to the right of the reference as his starting position was to the left. But now that takes him a short time because now he's traveling quickly. Because when you travel quickly, you go a certain distance in a short time. When you travel slowly, you go a certain distance, the same distance, but now in a long period of time. So let's observe this motion. Notice how he goes slowly first and then quickly. All the time he was heading to the right. His velocity was positive, but he wasn't at the right all the time. He was at the left of the reference for some of the time, most of the time, and then at the right of the reference for that last short time when he was going very quickly. What about this motion? You predict how the man's going to walk like this motion shows. We can see that he starts at the positive position, so he starts at the right. And then his position becomes less positive until he's at the reference point. He's at the middle. And then his position becomes more and more negative until he's at his maximum negative position. To do that, he has to head to the left. In other words, his velocity must be negative. Remember that the gradient of the graph of an xt graph tells us velocity. It has magnitude and direction, and the direction of this graph's gradient is negative. It's sloping negatively. Because the velocity is negative, the man is going to head to the left. Then let's look at the magnitude of the gradient, the magnitude of the velocity. The gradient starts shallow. The velocity is going to be slow to begin with, and then the gradient becomes steeper and steeper. The velocity is going to become more and more, faster and faster. So the man's going to start on the far right, and he's going to head to the left, and he's going to start slowly and go faster and faster. Because of that, he takes a long time to undergo his displacement from maximum positive position to reference point. And then he takes a short time to undergo his displacement from reference point to maximum negative position. Let's watch it. Notice how he's always moving to the left. His velocity is negative. So he starts off slowly while he's on the positive side. He accelerates. He changes his velocity. His velocity gets faster and faster. By the time he's on the negative side, he's moving very quickly.
And before we go, have you already liked? Have you subscribed? Have you left me a comment? And please go and visit my website. You'll find a lot of resources there, and they're categorized in a way that will make it very easy for you to find what you need. Until we meet again, learn science!